Three-point takes and makes. Dallin Hall has a knack for game winners. The freshman point dropped a dozen the last time these teams met. Mark Pope now in his fourth campaign leading BYU. 49 wins against 9 losses at home. Tonight bids for his 50th win in this building. What are your keys tonight?
Well, for Santa Clara, they have to protect the paint. Cougars want to attack that paint area, and they must be physical on every box out because BYU, they love to crash the offensive glass, and that's when they're good in the half court, and their transition offense is terrific.
This will be the 41st all-time meeting that began back in 1951. Broncos have won the last 2, haven't won here since 1972. They have never bested BYU in 3 straight games. And Parker Brown ready to jump against Kuseni Traore. Broncos win it, and we're underway. Justice, a great shooter. He is hounded hard, and a foul early on Hall. Now the Cougars get whistled a lot, over 19 fouls a game, second most in the league, while Santa Clara on the season plays fairly foul-free.
They only foul 15 times a game, one of the best in the country.
Carlos Stewart, outstanding sophomore. Brown trying to muscle in against Gideon George. Lefty kiss.
We talk about tempo and pace a lot when it comes to guard play, but that was good tempo and pace in the post-up. ISO, good ball fake, good feet.
George only had a couple of points in 22 minutes the last time these teams met. He's got 2 in the first minute.
Gideon George doesn't get enough credit for how good of a handle he has on the basketball. Good cross.
And miscommunication there. Stewart was leaving the handoff out of bounds.
Here's the patience for Brown. Watch him take his time, his feet. You can see his eyes. He sells the ball fake with his eyes.
Tied at 2. Both of these teams excellent rebounding the basketball.
Santa Clara's going to have to guard a lot of pick and roll action. Second straight possession where BYU has gotten into the paint, John.
Shot off from George. Pajemski pushing it. Jaden Bediako fed on the lob, disrupted by the undersized Hall, out of bounds. It'll be Bronco ball, 20 on the timer.
Dallin Hall got caught in the mismatch and did a really nice job of fighting in post defense to push him away into a worse passing angle.
Mark Pope did not agree. He stormed down the sidelines, furiously pointing, believing it should be BYU ball. Pajemski. And there's the matchup you talked about, Johnson against him.
Tried to go at him off the baseline, out of bounds immediately.
Oh, creative look. Traore wins it.
A shot he typically makes.
BYU thrives in transition. George slices down the lane, rejected away. Stewart behind the back move on Hall. Oh, nice lead, but Bediako wasn't ready. Settles and hits.
That was so tough from Stewart. The hezzy cross into traffic. Tough dump down.
Robinson the lob. Traore. Help comes. Muscling shot. Rolls off iron. George rejected partially by Bediako. Put back, yes.
That's the thing about this front court for BYU. They're undersized, but they have a relentless pursuit of the offensive glass.
On high. Brown. Misfire. Traore taps it. Johnson on the push. Sees a seam and drives. Off glass miss. Pajemski. Hall's already got a foul. Tries to Euro. Bucket.
He Euros, steps forward, but you see him extend the ball out to avoid the block shot. Another high IQ play from Pajemski.
All other end behind a Traore series of screens. Open triple. Miss and a foul in pursuit of the loose ball. That'll be on the floor. That'll be on Bediako.
Santa Clara's going under the ball screen on Dallin Hall. They don't feel as if he is a good enough three-point shooter off the bounce, off the pick and roll action. Three-point shots from the pick and roll will be open for Hall tonight if they stay with that action.
Herb Sendek said he was concerned about transition game and shooters. Free throw line, Jay rattles in. Jackson Robinson.
Just a sophomore, do like Robinson's game a lot. Transfer from Arkansas. Pro-type game.
Stewart denied at the drive. Brown, nice lead. Extra give. Bediako couldn't handle. 17 to shoot. Now the turnover to Robinson. One hands up. Johnson. Pass Pajemski. Wraparound. Traore. Bucket. Pajemski calls for a screen from Brown. George stays with him. Overplay and a foul. The reaching arm of Spencer Johnson, his first.
It's a great throw ahead by Jackson Robinson, and then Spencer Johnson absorbs the contact, draws two defenders. Really nice dish from Spencer Johnson in transition. This is a BYU team that thrives in transition offense. They have a top 40 tempo in the country per Ken Pom.
Christoph Tilley is in off a career-high 13 against LMU for Santa Clara. Pajemski, another score.
That's easy. Way too easy of a look. Johnson needs to crowd Pajemski a little bit more.
Rudi Williams is in. He had one of his best games of the year the last time these teams met. Lob to Traore. Kick out of the wing. Extra pass. Johnson. Sidestep. Three ball off, and Tilley's got it.
Nice
Pajemski floats it up.
Oh, come on, John. There are 16 NBA scouts here tonight. Pretty much all of them right now really enjoying what they're seeing from Brandon Pajemski.
Williams kicks corner. Oh, look at the perimeter passing. Robinson floats it up. Rattles out. Justice has it. Tilley saves that one. Wing three. Traore. George beat Tilley off the bounce. Foul on the floor. Tight one early. A one bucket difference.
I work hard and I want my money to work hard too. So I use my Freedom Unlimited card. Earn on my favorite soup. Got it. Earning on Daddy Clear. Don't touch it yet. Let me get the big one. Nope.
This one?
Nope.
This one?
Yes. No.
Wait.
The big one.
They're all the same size.
Wait. Let me get them all. Earn big with Chase Freedom Unlimited. How do you cash back? Chase. Make more of what's yours.
You hear that? This cheesesteak is so freshly grilled, you can still hear it sizzling. Listen. The sizzling, the chopping, the spatula.
I can hear it too.
Me too.
Actually, it's the
Hello? Cheesesteak?
grill.
Grill right in front of you. The Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Gatorade Fit. Fitness starts from the inside out. Get healthy, real hydration. And no added sugar, artificial sweeteners, or added colors. Gatorade Fit. Healthy, real hydration today helps you fuel tomorrow.
4 delicious pieces of chocolate. 3 crisp wafers. 2 layers of sweet Kit Kat filling. 1 incredible break. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Now served up in birthday cake.
Up next, Deli Witch from Hot Pockets. Ham and cheese on delicious bread, a must-pack for every parent. We now go to Matt, currently stuffing his face.
Deli Witch from
Hot Pockets.
Awesomely Portable.
Jalen and I teamed up to bring back school sports for kids in Philly, because I'm these kids' biggest fan. Go to missiontiger.com to see what happened.
And see that I'm their biggest fan.
No, I'm their biggest fan.
They signed my shirt.
Well, that's cheating. I don't even wear shirts.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Kit Kat. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. By Sleep Number. Discover proven quality sleep only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
10-8, Santa Clara, the narrow edge at BYU. Cougar legend Danny Ainge, a frequent visitor in the house, CEO of the Jazz. He led the Cougars in scoring all 4 years during his time at BYU, and many eyes are on Brandon Pajemski, third leading scorer and rebounder in the West Coast Conference.
And Pajemski is really one of the most underappreciated scorers in the country. He's averaging 25 points a game in his last 5 games. A 3-level scorer. He can hurt you from 3, mid-range, and he's a fantastic finisher around the rim. We were asking Coach Mark Pope about him, and he said he has a reproducible pace. It's incredible how he never gets sped up.
BYU entry. Up the wing, the sub didn't know a Waterman. Waterman came off the bench for the first time since mid-January at Gonzaga on Saturday. Played well. Carry and a turnover by Spencer Johnson. Turnovers have been a concern for BYU on the year.
And it's really a lot of times not just in transition, it's in the half court. It still feels like this BYU offense is trying to figure out what it wants to be in the half court.
Ball in the hands of Brenton Napper, who is back after missing a couple of games due to concussion. Pajemski showing the shot.
He's so good. He's so good. 19th in the nation in jump shooting efficiency. He's got a 58% effective field goal percentage. Very few players can score as consistently as Brandon Pajemski.
That's the first made 3. Every point in the game but 2 had been in the paint before that shot. Williams, oh, nice lead for Johnson. That's what he did when he erupted for 24 in the first clash between these teams. Wide open Tilly. How does that happen?
I know what will happen tomorrow is that play will be on BYU's film session.
Well, defensive communication has been a concern for Mark Pope during a bulk of the year, and he's brought it up a lot of late.
Can't let your offense affect your defense. Even if there's multiple substitutions, you have to over-communicate in transition defense.
Williams 3 rattles out. Waterman couldn't handle. Uncertain possession. BYU ball. The Herb Sendek subs in Cameron Tongue. Also comes off a career high showing. He dropped 9 on LMU last time out.
Coach Sendek with the look of bewilderment. Said, I thought it was our ball.
Waterman. Ali Atiki is in. He controls up top. Williams feeds him. Wave it off on the floor.
It was a really nice pocket pass from Rudi Williams in the pick and roll. Watch a little dribble handoff in the pick and roll. There's that little pocket of area that Williams just dumps it in a perfect angle for Atiki.
BYU sub, Robinson out. Richie Saunders comes in. Mark Pope all year has been trying to find the right combination, both starting and in game.
They run a double stagger screen to get that 3 off.
BYU's had some good looks on jump shots that haven't gone. Coast to coast! The generously listed 6-foot Brett Napper.
That was all kinds of speed from Napper. Wow.
That's an 11-2 Broncos run. Saunders off the Atiki screen. Needs help. Williams mid lane. Rattles away. Atiki. Baseline. Missed. Tap home by Saunders.
Offensive rebounding. It's a huge part of BYU's offense in the half court. Cause for concern for Santa Clara.
Tilly timing off on the tip. Atiki's got it. Saunders was ahead of the pack. Waterman transition, corner, Johnson. Cuts cup. Reverse miss, tipped and controlled by Stewart.
Little drag ball screen and semi-transition for Stewart.
Tongue wanted it in the post. Tilly muscles on Atiki. And a foul on the floor. That'll be Atiki's first.
This is BYU on the offensive rebound, tip in after Rudi Williams' miss. I say it's cause for concern for Santa Clara. because they're coming off a game versus Loyola Marymount in which they gave up 16 offensive rebounds. Something that Coach Sendek preached about in shoot-around this morning and talked with us about as well. We have to be great on boxing out.
Bediako in. Napper off target. Whistle. As Tongue was fighting with Waterman. That'll go on Waterman, his first. CBS Sports celebrates Black history, its limitless culture, and undeniable impact. Happy Black History Month. Podziemski wide open, he can't believe it. How does that happen?
It shouldn't happen. I don't know about the how, but it shouldn't happen. Podziemski's already got 12 tonight.
What's your feel early on? Lob to Waterman, tipped by Podziemski, Bronco ball.
I think they're giving Podziemski way too many open looks, and that is a terrific pass from Stewart in the full courts. I sense that Santa Clara is setting better screens on offense than BYU is. They're not fighting over the screens. The Cougars need a little bit more physicality against Santa Clara on defense.
This is the quietest I have ever heard the Marriott sound.
Pensive.
Podziemski rebound. It's a 16-4 Santa Clara run. Bediako off the fake. It's Hickey, rejects it. Williams down the lane, rolls down.
Rudi Williams is #1 in the West Coast Conference in transition scoring efficiency because of plays like that, the burst of speed.
Justice and one. That'll be a second foul on Noah Waterman.
Try to tell you about Brandon Podziemski. Off the inbound, step back. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm this wide open. Rips a three. Santa Clara rolling.
This is Marianne's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Marianne packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
This is Sandra. She gets her financial advice from her mother. This is Tony, who gets his financial advice from his old college roommate. And this is where Frank used to sit. He got smart about retirement at smartasset.com. They matched him with vetted fiduciary financial advisors to help turn his retirement priorities into a retirement reality. Everybody sure misses Frank.
Can someone get that?
Smartasset.com. Take our free quiz and be matched with up to 3 vetted financial advisors. Get smart about retirement.
A game-high 10-point lead for Santa Clara, thanks in large part to Brandon Podziemski, the subject of our Reese's player profile.
And Podziemski, just a sophomore, nickname is Pods, transfer from Illinois, and it was interesting. As you see the additional, he's only one of 3 players in the country averaging 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists a game. He is a terrific rebounder. That's what pro scouts love about his game outside of his offense. A tremendous rebounder. We asked Coach Sendek, we said, what's the best part about his game? And he goes, well, without hesitation, his competitive spirit. He plays unbelievably hard every single possession.
And that was probably seen in his high school performance when he dropped 50 in a single game. He had an elite prep career, and we had a chance to ask him what he remembered about putting 50 on the board. He said immediately, I remember we lost the game. It was a 4 overtime game, and he never came out. He played every minute of a 4 overtime ball game.
Just an unbelievably mature answer from Podziemski, and it was without hesitation, too. You asked him, and he goes, oh, well, I can tell you we lost.
And one free throw miss for Justice. Free throws have been a concern for Santa Clara intermittently of late. That foul was to Waterman, his second. George, high kiss miss. Hot potato tracked down by the Broncos and Keyshawn Justice. Podziemski is screaming for it on the wing. Bediako gets it. He's got size, and Traore isolated. Shoulders in. Off target, Traore wins it. Williams leaves on the wing. Robinson release, hits heel. Bediako box and board. Podziemski thought about taking that shot. Ball screen. Podziemski's body control. Wrap around on one knee, and Bediako puts it in.
Podziemski is always under control. He's never sped up. Has some of the best tempo on offense that you will see in the country.
And this BYU crowd is sitting in stunned silence. Williams, bucket. He has been some energy for BYU.
He's the energy spark. That's one of the reasons why he is coming off the bench, is because Coach Pope feels like he brings us a huge spark as the first guy off the bench.
Bediako, they're trying to get him touches. It's not there early. Traore brings it up the floor, flicks it to Williams. Miss, Bronco ball. We haven't seen a ton of Carlos Stewart so far. How does he help these Broncos?
Well, Stewart is a magician in the pick and roll. And they love to get him on the right wing and orchestrate the pick and roll.
There he is, and he drains the triple.
Shoots over 38% from 3, and we talk a lot about Podziemski, but he's a top 10 scorer in the West Coast Conference, averaging just over 15 a game.
Gatorade Player of the Year in his native Louisiana. It was Zoom-era recruiting that brought him west to California. Podziemski defends against Hall. Traore trying to spring free. Bediako's got length. He's a shot blocker. 5 to shoot. Hook try.
And Traore, even though he's undersized, he's not bothered by length because of how strong he is. He can push his defender underneath the basket to give himself separation.
Stolen away, Rudi Williams.
The best player in transition offense in the West Coast Conference. That's Rudi Williams.
Santa Clara across. Herb Sendek says timeout.
Been all Santa Clara and Brandon Podziemski. A little hostage dribble, and then a willing passer to his big fella with the touch. And we talked about Stewart. Very capable Stewart. Score, Santa Clara's up 9.
Gatorade Fit. Fitness starts from the inside out. Get healthy, real hydration and no added sugar, artificial sweeteners, or added colors. Gatorade Fit. Healthy, real hydration today helps you fuel tomorrow.
At Papa John's, we start with better. Like marinated oven roasted chicken tossed in our new hot lemon pepper sauce, kind of better. And now you can find them on the Papa Pairings menu. Get 2 or more Papa Pairings favorites for just $6.99 each, only from Papa John's.
I can't believe we were actually put on pause.
Huh, am I anxious about being back? Does it seem like I am?
I'm glad to be back because this is what I was made for. I mean, as a walking, talking candy, my options are pretty limited.
No matter what type of dog you have, or cat you have, Frontline Plus lets you take them everywhere, no matter how you define it. Frontline, the #1 name in flea and tick protection.
You can cash back 5% on travel purchased through Chase with Freedom Unlimited. And buy a better plane seat. Switch to a king suite.
Or book a silent retreat.
Silent retreat. Oh, hold up. Earn big with Chase Freedom Unlimited with no annual fee. How do you cash back?
Tomorrow, 2:45 Eastern, a must-see Serie A thriller. Sassuolo takes on the dominant leader in the back, Napoli. Don't miss kickoff here on CBS Sports Network, streaming live on Paramount+. In the house, longtime AD for BYU, Tom Olmo, former football player in these parts, alongside the visiting Dr. Phil Schubert, AD at Abilene Christian, the president at Abilene Christian, the alma mater of our esteemed producer, Mr. Lance Narrow. We'll take on Grand Valley State tomorrow. Will ACU, BYU, and Santa Clara rematching on this regular season. Santa Clara showing this same formation before sideline entry. What do they do there?
Well, they're trying to look at this BYU zone. It's an extended matchup zone. You see George at the top, almost doubling the ball every single time.
Tongue short, Tilly got it, foul on the floor.
That's Coach Pope just trying to mix up the defenses and trying to keep Santa Clara's offense, off kilter, keep them guessing.
That's now 6 fouls on BYU already, so the Broncos will have bonus rest of the way this half. Tilly wants it, Pajemski beckons him forward. Ball screen. Feeds Tilly, shoulder on Traore, hook off, he's fouled. And he checks his face for blood, does Tilly. That'll be Traore's first.
And that's a pro play from Pajemski. So he comes off that pick and roll, that quick little dime in the pocket. It's called a pocket pass. But he puts the defender, his defender, on his shoulder and shields him with his body. He's never sped up. It's very impressive to see it live.
Well, I found it curious, Mike, because I asked you for college or pro comparisons to Pajemski. And then you asked him who he watches on film, and it matched up.
It was like the exact same two players. Incredible. And those two players were Manu Ginobili, all-star for the Spurs, and Tyler Hero for the Miami Heat. And you can see flashes. If you take Ginobili's game and Hero's game, his leftiness, unorthodox of his pace of Ginobili, and then Hero's ability to come off down screens and pin downs and stagger screens. Put them together, you get Brandon Pajemski.
Traore doubled, kicks to Hall. Opposite. Robinson snaps it down the wing for George. 7 to shoot. Slices rim. Off iron. Foul. That'll go on the big man, Christoph Tilly. That'll be his second.
If you take the foul out, that was a terrific defensive possession for Santa Clara. The closeouts were there. They were in the gaps, shrinking the gaps. There was a lot of communication. But the bailout foul drives you crazy as a coaching staff.
So now George at the line. Misses the first. It's the first free throw try for BYU. Bediako in. Tilly out with his second foul. Saunders returns for BYU.
And here's what needs to happen for BYU. Dallin Hall, the freshman point guard, needs to be more aggressive on offense. And I don't mean that he needs to look for a shot. He needs to be active in the pick and roll, making plays for teammates. So when you sense a lull as a point guard and as a young leader, you have to take it upon yourself to find good action.
Napper picked up the dribble. Pajemski hounded by Hall. Napper looks, Tongue wants it. Cuts closer, that was tipped. Caught by Bediako, 7 to shoot. Trying to dribble out of it, picks it up, 5 to shoot. Pajemski on the wing, step by. Off the iron with one on the timer. Saunders. George, Traore begging for the ball. George instead inside, twisting ball away, off. Pajemski, Traore hand to his eye. Looked like he got poked in that left eye. Soft lob to Tongue, couldn't finish.
You said it, John. It had to be soft. Just a high IQ play by Pajemski.
I mean, if anything, it seems at times the Broncos have been hurt by how artfully some passes have arrived.
Right, no question.
Robinson on high, off target. So BYU is 0 for 5 from deep. And Tiki ready to sub back in. Tongue given the isolation. Rejected away. Robinson the swat. Hole on the trot, lead for Robinson. Elbow floater off. Pajemski is everywhere. George cleans it up. You can see and feel the activity from BYU defensively. Napper bounce pass. Justice no, tipped. Hall saves it to Justice.
What's one of those unwritten rules in basketball? Don't save it underneath your own bucket. Learning moment.
BYU is 11-3 in this building, winning by an average of nearly 10.5 points per game. Santa Clara has been fairly dominant from jump. Hall, elbow J, contested by Pajemski, ugly miss. Traore mid lane.
Back-to-back possessions in which BYU has gotten offensive rebounds.
Seems like defensive confusion coming down the floor. Jackson Robinson made a hand signal to Mark Pope, seemingly asking, what defense are we in?
Yeah, they're now in their man-to-man. The previous 3 possessions, they were in that matchup zone defense.
Bediako stolen away by Saunders. Foot race with Justice. And he knocks it free. A foul as Bediako stumbles.
Here's the steal by Saunders. Gets his left hand out, his inside hand out. Draws the foul in transition.
Now that's the second on Jaden Bediako. So he has 2 and Christoph Tilly has 2. They're the 2 primary bigs for Santa Clara, who are forced to put in Jacob Holt, who only plays 10 minutes a game.
And I think that was another job by Richie Saunders, who's continuing to get more and more playing time. He's a top 25 shooting guard out of high school, top 5 player in the state of Utah.
Hall was wide open, didn't take it, instead floats for a Tiki.
Have to shoot that.
And a foul on the floor. Tomorrow night, 6 Eastern. Get ready for some hardwood action in the MAC in the Mountain West. Eastern Michigan visits Kent State, and at 10:30, the Lobos of New Mexico take on San Jose State right here on CBS Sports Network.
How much trouble is New Mexico in right now? I mean, they got to play a San Jose State team that's playing really well. We just had them, John.
And New Mexico looked rudderless. And a whistle and a foul on the floor. The prior foul had gone on Holt. That's going to be Holt again. That'll be 2 on Holt. Now, of course, New Mexico was without Jalen House when they fell to Wyoming the other day.
They've been without Jalen House for the last 2 games. Udeze's been good. He's got 10 double-doubles. Most of the Mountain West. Jamal Mashburn is one of the best half-court scorers and mid-range shooters in the country, but they lack the grit and toughness on the defensive end that we saw in that 14-0 start that they had earlier this season.
Front end of the 1-and-1, good for a Tiki. It'll be bonus both teams rest of the way. So how does that foul concern affect Santa Clara? BYU has gotten back in by dominating inside, second chance looks. But now Bediako, Tilly, and Holt all with 2 fouls apiece.
Unnecessary fouling is just a destroyer of going on a run. It slows the game down. It takes you out of your rhythm. It allows the opposing team to gain more confidence at the free throw line.
Another foul brings us to break. That'll be 2 on a Tiki.
Things can be a little different on the ice. Going coast to coast here only takes a few seconds, and it never costs extra for Top Shot. This is college hockey on CBS Sports Network.
I'm becoming more than just a title or a 4.0.
I see. I wonder.
A dream.
A seeker of truth and beauty. Challenging my mind.
Furthering what I thought I knew.
I question.
I reflect.
I lead.
Creating connection and passion to transform not just me, but my community.
So it becomes more too.
I am.
We are.
Together, we become more.
You know, if you were cash back and you could earn on everything with just one card, Chase Freedom Unlimited. So if you're off the racking or crab fracking, you're cash backing. Cash back on flapjacks, baby backs, or tacos at the Taco Shack.
Nah, I'm working on my 6-pack.
Switch to a King Suite.
Or book a silent retreat.
Silent retreat? Oh, hold up. Yeah, I can't talk right now. I'm at a silent retreat. Cash back on everything you buy with Chase Freedom Unlimited with no annual fee. How do you cash back? Chase, make more of what's yours.
It's a Champions League final rematch as defending champions Real Madrid head to hostile territory for another do-or-die date with Liverpool. The UEFA Champions League round of 16 continues on CBS and stream every match live on Paramount+.
Coming up, AT&T at the half. Evan Washburn, Wally Zerbiak, Chris Walker, and Seth Davis are standing by in our New York studio. 32-26, the Bronco lead sliced down to 6. Foul concern at this point for the Broncos. 3 bigs with 2 apiece. And we welcome you back to our broadcast position. John Sadak, Mike O'Donnell. What has stood out to you so far?
Well, obviously, Pajemski got off to a really hot start. The thing that I like what Coach Pope did, he switched defenses and went to that amoeba-like zone defense, started to slow down Santa Clara just enough to come back into this game.
Pajemski has been dynamite. He has lived up to the billing in a big way. Foul before the timeout went on Atiki Ali Atiki, his second. So he and Noah Waterman have 2 apiece for BYU. Keyshawn Justice wanted 1 free throws. And he hits. Now Justice takes and makes more threes than anyone else in the West Coast Conference.
He just passed Steve Nash for 3rd all-time in made threes in Santa Clara history. That's a pretty cool name to pass by in the history books.
And a name that could reverb tonight. Broncos are looking to make it back-to-back 20-win seasons for the first time since Nash wore the jersey back in the mid-90s. Catch, release, Saunders miss. Over the backboard, that's out of bounds. You know, fouls have been a growing concern on each side. A Bronco team that's fairly foul-free on the season. But Herb Sendek, who was your college coach once upon a time, has a saying about defense and fouling.
The harder you play, the less you foul. I can guarantee you that phrase will be uttered at halftime for Santa Clara. The reason why we say the harder you play, the less you foul is when you look at any basic defense, if you're out of position, if you're late, if you're slow, if you're not locked into the scouting report, you're reaching, you're falling, you're late, you end up fouling.
Johnson floater. Took some contact there, too. Now it's got more the feel of a track meet. Up and down these teams go.
It's not what Santa Clara wants. BYU would love a track meet. Top 40 in the country in adjusted tempo for Ken Palm.
Pajemski draped by Johnson, shot short, foul on the floor.
This is BYU running good offense. Johnson denies coming off the DHO, the dribble handoff, and he absolutely gets hit. That, no question, should have been an and 1.
There you go, 0 from 3, but efficient from 2. That last foul to Atiki Ali Atiki, his 3rd. He's now on the bench. And Noah Waterman with 2 fouls is back in. Holt 81%, limited tries at the line, misses the front end, tipped and controlled by Brown. Bronco ball. Pajemski begging for the ball. It's that opposite. Holt cuts to the cup. And a blocking foul. That'll be Saunders. That's his first, and fouls are piling up.
Coach Sendek was really happy with this play because it was a quick decision that was made by Holt. Jacob Holt, the sophomore, starting to get more playing time. When he makes quick decisions like that, that's when he's at his best.
It is double bonus now, 10 fouls on BYU. Now think about that. This is a BYU team that's whistled 19 times a game, second most in the league. Already with 10 fouls at home with just under 3 minutes to go until halftime.
And it stifles your best offense, which is transition offense.
Traore, big part of BYU's success of late. Gets fed mid-post.
Nice cuts.
Bucket. Saunders.
It was a great 45 angle cut for Richie Saunders.
Brown lead for Justice. Rainbow make.
That's what he does. You said it earlier, John. He's a shooter. Most in the West Coast Conference have made threes.
Traore leads for Hall. He's been reluctant to shoot. Hard physicality down low. Saunders tipped. Johnson's got it. No possession exchange. Timer at 12. Traore wants it. Waterman lob. 5 to shoot. Facing the rim. Help comes. 3 to shoot. Waterman has to hoist. Off iron. Pajemski. Pajemski has been a little more quiet of late. Johnson hounding him hard. On a switch, he's got Waterman. Bounce to Brown. Size mismatch. That's short. Poke to BYU. Hall. Traore took an odd stumble. Waterman looking to wrap around. Grain in the lane, out of bounds. Cougar ball.
It's called a 45 cut. And we say 45 cut because they come at a 45-degree angle from the opposite side of the court. Richie Saunders, I've been impressed with him just as a freshman. Highly recruited coming out of high school. It offers from Creighton, Utah, Oregon State.
And some parallel symmetry with number 45 delivering the dime.
How about that?
And a steal on the entry. Pajemski had a steam down the lane. Yes, he's got 14.
John, I know you can see it and feel it, but how he can decelerate, keep the ball above his head so he avoids any smaller guards trying to poke it away.
Broncos have matched their game-high lead and a chance to expand upon it. Under a minute. Stewart surveys. Pajemski lies in wait. Oh, great cut and feed. Brown bucket. Timeout BYU. It is a 13-4 run for the Broncos, and the Cougars down a game-worst 15.
As a charge nurse, you can be a confident and dynamic leader who supports the nursing team and guides their patient care. Grand Canyon University's RN to BSN online degree program equips you with strategies that prepare you to manage the ever-changing realities of healthcare while maintaining focus on family support and patient outcomes. What do you think making a difference in healthcare looks like? GCU offers over 250 high-quality online programs like this one. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Santa Clara up a game-high 15. How did we just get here?
Well, it's because of plays like this. Santa Clara getting out in the fast break. Brandon Pajemski decelerating, keeping the ball above his head. He's had a terrific game, 14 points in the first half. And that was just Gideon George losing sight of his man completely. Total lack of awareness from BYU. Help side defense.
What do you want to see here out of BYU's timeout?
It's going to be ball screen action towards the end of this possession. They have to get something and push Santa Clara deeper.
Stewart gets the steal against Hall. Bucket! That's a tough shot. Hall checking his nose and mouth for blood.
How did he make that?
The Broncos have 14 points off turnovers. Timer off. Ball screen, Traore. Hall, finally a three. Hits heel. Rebound, hold 5 seconds. Pajemski, ball in his hands. Heave at midcourt. Off glass. A thunderous run to close the half with 9 unanswered to claim a 17-point edge. After the break, Evan Washburn, Wally Zerbiak, Chris Walker, Seth Davis. It'll be AT&T at the half. The Broncos stampeding in Provo.
Remember college? 5-hour energy got you through then. And now, we'll get you through again. Rediscover 5-hour energy.
Oh, when my Marco's craving hits, it really hits. And with unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for $6.99 each, I can cover tonight's cravings and tomorrow's. Nice. Marco's. Pizza lovers, get it.
This is Mary Ann's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Mary Ann packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
All right, team. We got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint, for certain.
CBS Sports presents AT&T at the half. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
What up and welcome into our New York studios alongside Chris Walker, Wally Zerbiak, and Seth Davis. I am Evan Washburn at the half here between BYU and Santa Clara. And Chris, Santa Clara rolling in this first half, up 17. What's the story in the first 20 for you?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to get my Marriott points and help out BYU at the Marriott Center because they're getting that Seth would say boat race. You know, my buddy Antonio Carroll from Phenom University AAU program told me this kid Brandon Pajemski was going to be this good. I had no idea because he went to Illinois, only threw up a deuce. But this kid, that's the beauty of the transfer portal. Sometimes you got to find another spot to get it done. Herb Sendek, he's had James Harden and other players. He has one right here. This kid's had 30 points a game in 4 games in the WCC. He had 30 against LMU. And the last win that they had, this Southpaw, I'm telling you right now, he is really, really good. And a lot of NBA guys will really take note. And I've never seen a guy this good that shoots better than Wally does.
Oh. Christian and Scooby. There's basketball and doggos. Now you're talking my game. Welcome back to our broadcast position. John Sadak, Mike O'Donnell. Well, beyond the beautiful canine theatrics, what stood out to you so far?
That really was off the charts. But what also was off the charts was Santa Clara's offense, particularly Brandon Pajemski. He was fantastic in the first half. We highlighted him earlier in the game. We said he's a pro, and he played like it. With 16 NBA scouts in attendance, we saw a variety of moves. We saw him get to the rim. We saw him knock down threes. And then he's got a ridiculous hezzy cross, the patience, the teardrop. Wow, Pajemski was good. 14 points in the first half.
First half stats brought to you by Sleep Number. Fast break 10-2 Broncos.
I also look at 11 assists for Santa Clara. The ball was moving. BYU has to do a much better job of disrupting the flow of this Broncos offense.
Santa Clara having fun. BYU at times looked very flat. Traore against Bediako, who had foul trouble, rattles free. Carlos Stewart on the run. Remember, a 9-0 surge in Santa Clara's favor capped the half. That's rejected by Johnson, out of bounds.
Johnson is such a gifted defender. He's #1 in the West Coast Conference in steals, but his ability to recover. Great defenders can always recover if they get beat just a step.
Pajemski to trigger, fronted by Johnson.
They'll throw back to him immediately. A lot of times when he's inbounding the basketball, they'll go right back to him. See, little DHO. Surprised BYU doesn't try to double that.
Wide open, Justice served.
So much attention goes to Pajemski. It leaves Justice wide open. Coming off that down screen for the three.
Foul. Stewart trying to clamp on the Hall. That'll be the first on Carlos Stewart.
Fouls on number 1, Carlos Stewart, his first personal.
Well, baseline trigger to come. It is a 20-point lead for Santa Clara at BYU. They haven't won here in over 50 years.
You mentioned it in the first half. The crowd was unbelievably quiet. Eerie.
Nice fake by Johnson. Oh, fouled in the act of a three. That'll be a second on Stewart.
If BYU is going to change the momentum of this game, we can go all X's and O's we want. They have to start playing harder, period, on the defensive end. There needs to be more activity on the ball. There needs to be better closeout on shooters. They need to chase shooters off of screens in a more physical manner. Everything has to change defensively for BYU.
3 shots for Spencer Johnson. Converts on the first. BYU has lost 2 in a row, 5 of 7. Mark Pope's team made the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. Fell to UCLA in the first round. A barrage of injuries stymied the Cougars last year. A decent amount of defection in the offseason. And this team, despite some higher hopes, has been below what I think is the universal expectation.
And the talent, I believe, is there. I don't think it's gelled yet. I think that's been obvious. They've had some good wins this season. They beat Creighton by 3, beat Utah, beat a very good Dayton team out of the Atlantic 10. Only lost to Gonzaga by 1, only lost to St. Mary's by 1. The pieces are there.
Oh, and Pajemski, a sweet 16 for their best scorer.
What haven't we seen him do tonight? He's so smooth.
George with the crowd in the murmur of stunned silence. Robinson in and out. Cougar ball.
Pajemski just takes the lane as you see a terrific seal by number 12 for Santa Clara, Jaden Bediako, that gives Pajemski the wide open layup.
Robinson against Justice. End line spin, help Bediako, rejected out of bounds, 12 to shoot. And Bediako was not a big part of the first half due to his foul concern. Call the break, tipped by Stewart. And a sub, Richie Saunders will come in.
And that is a guy for BYU that brought them a lot of energy in the first half. Richie Saunders, the freshman.
Johnson looks to Saunders. Robinson 1 for 8 shooting to the bench. 5 to shoot George. Fake to give to Traore. Shot rolls off iron, but he's fouled. That'll go on Parker Brown. That's his second. And if the name sounds familiar, he does come from a big-time basketball family. Of late, you probably know his brother Christian the best. Won the national title with Kansas last year. Drafted by the Denver Nuggets. Back end for George. Good.
And here's the tough thing, though. Santa Clara's humming on the offensive end. Well, this is their wheel action. Pajemski goes off the down screen. He sets a down screen, and now he's trying to come off another one.
Bediako. Dribble if he wants. Lead for Pajemski. Johnson goes over.
It's a good chase by Johnson.
Brown 8 to shoot. Isolated against George. And 1. That'll be the first on George and a chance for a 3-point play.
If the front court for Santa Clara adds more consistency from a scoring standpoint, as George just can't believe it. If the front court adds a more consistent scoring barrage, this Santa Clara offense is going to be almost impossible to scout against and play against in the West Coast Conference tournament.
Free throw miss into the maelstrom of odd signage in the student section. Many teams struggle shooting that end of the second half. George against Bediako, falling away. No. Friendly fire. Stumbled down on his tummy. Able to save it on the shovel. George holding that pivot. Rejected by Brown. Foul. Oh, he's got 3.
Parker Brown did as much as he possibly could on that individual defensive possession against George. It's another good hustle play by Saunders, keeping the play alive. Watch Brown. Shields, left hand up, right hand up, keeps 2 hands up, that just leans over the top a little too much.
Well, shooting the definitive difference, and you touched on how efficient Santa Clara has been. Broncos on the game are 56% from the field. BYU is 35%. There's 2 misses at the line. Cougars are also 0 for 7 from 3. Different defense.
That back to the matchup zone defense, and they got a good look. Pajemski was right on the money to throw that lob.
Justice up top. Bediako can't handle. Squirts free. Johnson rolls into himself. Bediako tumbled. Numbers for the Cougars. Saunders corner. Hall off the fake. Sharp dribble. First triple for BYU. Tipped and stolen by George. Leaves for Johnson. Tilly ready to sub for Santa Clara. Behind the Traore screen. Feed the screener. Good fake. Traore.
You get the sense of change of momentum in this game.
That's not booze. That's Foos. His nickname. Long 2. Untrue for Stewart. Pajemski fouled on the follow.
Again, BYU out in transition, extra passes. Hall makes the right decision on the pump fake, buries the first 3 of the game for BYU. Little pocket pass from Johnson. Starting to get a little bit more momentum. You can see what transition offense does to this BYU culture.
First free throw good for Pajemski. Tilly and Napper back in. Bediako and Stewart get a blow.
This is my first time seeing the student section for an opposing team shooting free throws. It is wild. That is so great. How can you not love that? Well, I guess if you're shooting free throws, you couldn't stand it.
The flailing inflatable men add to it quite a bit as well. Johnson defended by Pajemski. Lead for Hall. Another 3. Short. Pajemski.
And I think if you're Mark Pope, you're okay with that. You want Hall to be more aggressive.
Tap to Tilly, who tumbled. BYU with numbers. Johnson blows by Brown. Hall on the trail. Fed. Cuts closer. Nice no-look. Traore.
You and I were talking at halftime that we both felt that Dallin Hall was too quiet, that he needed to do more for this BYU team. Well, guess what? He's done just that to get BYU back in it.
Tilly asked for it. Backing in Traore. Foul. That'll be his second.
Dallin Hall. We talked about him. Ball fake, no look, dive to his big fella. BYU's trying, clawing, trying to get back into it. Santa Clara still up.
I work hard and I want my money to work hard too. So I use my Freedom Unlimited card. Earning on my favorite soup. Got it. Earning on Daddy Clear. Don't touch it, don't touch it yet. Let me get the big one. Nope.
This one?
Nope.
This one?
Yes. No. Wait, the big one.
They're all the same size.
Wait. Let me get them all. I'm gonna get them all. Earn big with Chase Freedom Unlimited. How do you cash back? Chase. Make more of what's yours.
We've got your back, road warriors. Because we know you're picking up the pace. Steering life at 10 and 2. You're hitting the road.
and we're helping you get there with confidence. So skip the counter without missing a beat. Choose any car in the aisle and be the boss of you. Go national. Go like a pro.
Oh, when my Marco's craving hits, it really hits. And with unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for $6.99 each, I can cover tonight's cravings and tomorrow's. Nice. Marco's. Pizza lovers, get it.
Castings. For simple shapes, a complete solid pattern may be used. A mold box is filled with special molding sand that is rammed home around the pattern. The molten metal, at precisely the right temperature, is poured into the mold. The assemblies are tumbled. Shaping is done with the aid of machinery, and the fine finish is evidence of the craftsmanship that has gone to their design and construction.
No matter what type of dog you have, or cat you have, Frontline Plus lets you take them everywhere, no matter how you define it. Frontline, the #1 name in flea and tick protection.
Well, welcome back here. Santa Clara up 56-41 with 15-16 left. We're talking about Santa Clara's offense, why it's been so good. So much attention on the inbounder, Pajemski. What actually happens, because of the attention, Justice is going to receive a double stagger and allow him to come off 4 shots. All the attention goes to Pajemski. Double stagger happens. Justin comes off, buries a 3, perfected on baseline out of bounds execution for Santa Clara.
They have been so efficient. He's closing in on a double-double. He's got 18 points, 8 boards. Only Eric Williams Jr. of San Diego has more in the West Coast Conference. They have shared the ball brilliantly, while BYU suffered through its first half under Mark Pope without a single made 3. They are the worst outside shooting team in the West Coast Conference, and it's been ugly tonight on the outside shot.
Just 1 of 9 from the three-point line for BYU.
Justice cuts closer. He's had a very strong game. He's got 14, 4 dimes, and 4 boards.
He's been doing that his entire career. You're so worried about his three-point shot, you forget he's a bigger body and a strong finisher around the rim.
Saunders just now comes back to the play. Williams electric at times in the first half. His first shot in the second. Traore screen on a switch. He's got Tilly. Step back long 2. True. There's a lot of time, but I'm not sure if the math adds up if BYU can't get some triples, right?
You're looking to get 3 consecutive stops in a row. That's a mark of a great defense.
That shot short for Tung. Saved on the backside. Squared free, Traore.
Here's Richie Saunders again, hitting the deck.
Williams snaps it wing, Johnson. Traore! He's been the offense this half.
That's the 3rd time this game that Richie Saunders, the freshman, has kept a possession alive and saved BYU.
Pajemski leads the West Coast Conference in minutes after a very brief breather. Ready to sub back in. Akametu getting some of his first time. Tip his own miss off. Williams surges. Traore leaves for Johnson, screens for him. To the basket, rejected hard by Tung. Napper. Akametu fouled. And he hit the floor hard.
Richie Saunders is the first to hit the deck and tip out that loose ball. That allows Rudi Williams to get out in transition. The catch, rip, dime, that is BYU basketball. Defense to offense, getting out in transition offense, and that is just a ridiculous block by Tung.
He was a top 5 recruit out of Massachusetts. Free throw miss. That foul, by the way, went to Noah Waterman, his 3rd. He is one of the shooters for BYU. And Trey Stewart's going to come in his first minutes tonight. A sophomore. He doesn't score much on the year, just 1.5 points per game.
You want to know what that substitution is? That substitution, it's not just about fouls, it's about energy too.
Backhand make. Stewart in and Nakametsu out. It's interesting, though. Mentioned that Podziemski leads this conference in minutes, nearly 36 a game. He gets very brief breathers. He did mention to us that fatigue, a little bit of a concern on the offensive end with Santa Clara and at times at elevation. He cited Utah State, a nearly identical elevation to Provo and BYU.
And he followed up and he said, look, it's all mental. I just have to be locked in. I have to push through anytime I feel tired.
It's about 4,500 feet above sea level here. Hard bounce to Tilly. Good look. Projected away by Atiki. Stewart in for energy. Snaps it forward to Atiki. Williams behind the Atiki screen. Waterman. Williams picks it up. Atiki. Everyone standing around watching. Saunders for three. Miss. Tung's got it. Santa Clara, aggressive cutting off ball. Podziemski comes to it. On a switch, he's got Waterman.
He wants this matchup.
Three ball on high. Yes!
Come on.
He's got 21 to lead the game.
And 8 rebounds, which is his average. There's 12 minutes left in the game.
Waterman, awkward dribble. Stewart up top. Ugly miss. Saunders wins it. Williams, up fake. Down the lane, foul.
Santa Clara gets the switch that they want. Podziemski off the DHO, the dribble handoff. Waterman on him, just sizes him up. He needs just enough space to let it rip. He's got that ultra quick and smooth release.
5 fouls on Santa Clara, 4 on BYU, and the last to Cameron Tung, his first. So Rudi Williams to the line, a top 5 free throw shooter in the West Coast Conference at 81%. Time in junior college, Kansas State, Coastal Carolina, and now BYU. Slew of subs, Brown, Bediako, and Akametsu back in. Snapper, Tung, and Tilly to the pine. Santa Clara, team that doesn't get much bench production on the year, has shown to be deeper tonight against BYU.
A lot of it's been their defense. I mean, we've talked about the struggles with BYU's offense, but we can't sit here and say it's just been all BYU inconsistency. Santa Clara's been unbelievably sound on the defensive end, particularly in the shot blocking and denial of post-entry passes.
Well, Gonzaga and St. Mary's understandably grabbed the headlines. LMU has had some major upsets this year. They'll match up with Gonzaga after us on the network. This Santa Clara team is very capable of making noise in the conference tournament.
91 in the net.
Brown miss. George Waterman down the lane, wanted it. Stewart puts it up. And one. Foul to Napper, his first. Energy swelling some. A lot of time.
This is Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade. Take the summer off. 200 milligrams of caffeine, electrolytes, and 0 sugar. Start fast with Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
Old Trapper beefs. One-upping.
I'm a big Old Trapper fan. Not bigger than me. I love Old Trapper. I love how tender it is. Don't forget the wood smoke flavor.
What about the clear bag?
That shows you exactly what you're getting. Savory beef. Quality ingredients. I'm their biggest fan.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
Will you sign my bag and my tattoo?
At Domino's, we took all the best things about pizza and put them on our new crispy loaded tots. Melty cheese, melty cheese. Mouth-watering toppings, mouth-watering toppings. Potato, potato. Try our new crispy loaded tots with your favorite pizza, only at Domino's.
With Chase Freedom Unlimited, you can cash back 3% on dining, including takeout. Cash back on flapjacks, baby backs, or tacos at the Taco Shack.
Nah, I'm working on my six-pack.
Well, good luck with that. Earn big with Chase Freedom Unlimited with no annual fee. How do you cash back?
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
On a night BYU has only led for 19 seconds, Santa Clara has been dominant. Our game summary brought to you by AT&T 5G. Mike, it is hard to outshoot a team by that field goal percentage and out-rebound them.
And the most surprising thing is that Santa Clara has 11 fast break points. BYU only 2. BYU has a top 40 tempo in the country, and it's Santa Clara that's getting out and running.
Stewart at the line. A correction, the foul not to Napper, but to Akametu, his first. Free ball tapped out of bounds. And off ball, I notice Keyshawn Justice clutched at his right shoulder and loosened it a little bit. He seemed to wince a touch as he reached for it. Now it's in his hands. Pajemski, offensive foul off ball. Bediako trying to carve up space. That's going to be his third.
And there's Bediako, number 12. Just a little too much. Didn't get his feet set at all. Easy call for the referee.
BYU, its most aggressive movement we've seen in some time as a unit. Waterman hand in his face from Brown, who was getting coached up by Pajemski coming off the floor at the break. Williams, bounce pass, reverse, tough bucket, Trey Stewart.
When your offense isn't clicking and you're searching for energy, sometimes you have to go to your bench to find role players to step up. That's exactly what Stewart's done for BYU.
Carlos Stewart for Santa Clara, lead for Justice. Bediako screen. Forced down the drain of the lane. Bediako tumbling, won by BYU, and Stewart again. Williams, awkward carry. Down the lane. Off. Pajemski. Williams was on his backside. Bediako having trouble getting down the floor. Pajemski denies the screen.
Look at Pajemski directing traffic. He pointed in 3 different areas.
Foul by Stewart.
Rudi Williams getting into the paint, finding his teammate Stewart with the tough finish. We've seen Stewart get layups, get fouled, get loose balls, get rebounds. Sometimes you have to be a star in your role when your team needs you to step up.
Foul, the first on Trey Stewart. There's Carlos Stewart, no relation. Pajemski against Trey Stewart, isolated. Help lying it away from Waterman and George. Floats it home.
As soon as Stewart got switched on to Pajemski, they called for a post ISO for him immediately. That was almost too easy.
Atiki. Stewart. In and out. Bediako the board. Broncos have led this game by as many as 20. They've only trailed for 19 seconds. Stewart stepping back. Waterman. It's been an ugly shooting night for BYU. Brown gets big. George pops a triple. Miss. Long board Stewart. Williams steps into it. Yes! An 11-3 run for BYU. Pajemski, what a pass. No, taken away by BYU. Williams, George in the corner. And he stepped out of bounds.
It's Pajemski in the ISO. He had the matchup he wanted against Stewart. And BYU off the miss. Stewart extra pass. Williams for three. The second made three for BYU tonight. They are 2 of 14 from the three-point line.
And just upon entry, Williams and Waterman slapping hands with each other, almost seeming to try to talk each other up for energy.
Has to be done. You're under 10 minutes. You're down 10. You need to find energy, and there's some right there.
Johnson behind the back. Hesitant three. Brown.
He missed it because he hesitated. You're exactly right, John.
Pajemski other end, who has been masterful tonight. 16 NBA scouts in the house, and he's putting on a show with the All-Star game looming in the area. Hard tumble for Justice. BYU ball. It's back to 10. Stretch run on the other side.
New Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X are designed to outperform. Engineered by Titleist scientists. Manufactured in Titleist golf ball plants. And validated by the best players in the world. The new Pro V1 and Pro V1X. The most advanced, best performing golf balls we've ever made.
Are you one of the millions surprised by your wireless rates increasing last year? You have rights. I'm not entirely sure what they are because I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a charming British actor. But I do know this. T-Mobile has price lock guarantee, and that means they won't raise the rates of your talk, text, and data, ever. As if iPhone 14 Pro owners weren't already giddy enough.
Switch to T-Mobile today and get the powerful iPhone 14 Pro on us.
Join T-Mobile and experience price lock guarantee. I guarantee you won't look back. That's a guarantee.
At Domino's, we took all the best things about pizza and put them on our new crispy loaded tots. Melty cheese, melty cheese. Mouth-watering toppings, mouth-watering toppings. Potato, potato. Try our new crispy loaded tots with your favorite pizza, only at Domino's.
It's easy to get lost in investment research. Introducing JP Morgan Personal Advisors.
Hey, David.
Connect with an advisor to create your personalized plan.
Let's find the right investments for your goals.
Okay, great.
JP Morgan Wealth Management.
10-point tilt in Provo as we take a look at the performance of the game fueled by Gatorade.
Brandon Pajemski, 23 points. He's only missed 4 shots tonight. He's been unbelievably efficient. We've seen everything we thought we were going to see. We've seen change of speed. We've seen him knock down threes. We've seen him in ISO and post-up scenarios. With 16 NBA scouts in the stands tonight, he has put on a show.
He was late to basketball. He was a baseball player that did not focus on hoops until his sophomore year of high school. The first player in the state of Wisconsin history to put 2,000 points in 3 seasons. A 4-star recruit. He goes to Illinois. He has a hard time sniffing the floor. In fact, he had a unique way of describing his role with the Illini to you.
Yeah, he talked about how in that offense, I was just supposed to sit in the corner and then play really good defense. But in Coach Sendek's offense, I had to get my conditioning up. He wanted me to come off screens 2 or 3 times into possession because I had to get in shape quick.
You can see BYU rolled the entry, already worried about conserving time. Traore against Tilly, awkward dribble. Williams up top. Forced pass, turnover, Tilly got it. Traore on his back as they tumble for the loose ball.
And we have been talking a lot about Pajemski's offense, but he's a very underrated defender because of how competitive he is. That's the thing that Coach Sendek loves about his game, is his competitiveness. You saw it on that previous possession. He fights over a screen for a denial, doesn't allow the entry pass into the lane.
Foul there to Traore. That's his 3rd. Pajemski against Johnson. Backs him in. Help from Saunders. Up top, Justice. Tilly takes it. 1 dribble. Stewart, 5 to shoot. Tilly, not a shooter. 2 to shoot, mid-lane. Got it! At the shot clock horn. That snaps a nearly 2.5-minute scoreless stretch for the Broncos. Waterman thought about it. Mike, I feel like we're at a close scrimmage right now. It's so quiet in here.
Well, the Marriott Center is incredible, but they're also incredibly silent because of how good Santa Clara has been. Because when they're making shots like that, I don't know how you slow it down. Little tilly in the lane. Santa Clara is shooting 51% from the field and 55% from three.
Fowler Pajemski is first. Well, the Broncos, they roared last time out against LMU. Saw a 12-0 and 15-2 lead early. Then wilted into a deficit at halftime and then shot nearly 80% from the field in the second half to come back and win it.
You and I were talking before the game. St. Mary's, Gonzaga, top of the class in the West Coast Conference. You know, what teams could really cause you some trouble? You and I both said this Santa Clara offense is so good. It's so sound. They're so consistent. Going to be a really dangerous team in the tournament.
1-1 try for Spencer Johnson. Miss. That is 7 free throw misses in 15 attempts for BYU. Pajemski, a force, taken away by Waterman.
Oh, Waterman with the behind the back at half court.
Waterman up top. Ugly miss. Pajemski's got it.
Pajemski has a double-double, 23 points and double-digit rebounds with 11.
Ball screen Tilly, Pajemski. Twisting fall away, off. Traore to the line.
Going to put my coaching hat on here real quick. Traore needs to do that every single time he catches the ball in the half court right now for BYU. He's a freight train, but the best thing about his game, when he puts his head down, he's still always under control. He's so strong, but he's always under control.
Foul to Tilly, his third. You can see the pursed lips of Mark Pope. The Cougars have not lost 4 or more home games in any one season under Pope. They're at the threshold of that. They entered with 3 setbacks at home. Another miss at the line for the Cougars. On a night they can ill afford to give away points at the stripe. Pajemski, nice pass. Stewart, free throw line jumper, fouled. That'll be 2 on Hall.
And you were right, John. You said nice pass because this is called a live dribble pass. And it's called a live dribble pass because the pass is made before Pajemski actually comes under control and puts 2 feet underneath him. Those are so hard to guard because you're automatically in reactive mode. You can't predict when a pass is being made, and it's so hard to recover when players can live dribble pass. It's a modern basketball skill that every backcourt player needs to have in their bag.
Bediako's back in, Tilly to the bench for Herb Sendek's club. Trying to win at BYU for the first time in over 50 years. Stewart into the lane. He's brought life.
He's been good. On both ends of the floor, Stewart has been very good off the bench. 6 points for him.
Carlos Stewart of Santa Clara threads that lob. Screen, Bediako, Justice, yes!
Oh, man.
That's team offense.
Yeah. That is an unbelievably difficult 3 from Justice. Hanging a slight double clutch.
They're fun to watch, Mike.
Shades of John Sadek on a Sunday afternoon at the Y.
Johnson off the fake. Awkward 3, got it!
Wanted the foul, too.
Stewart on the end, gets by Hall. Rejected by Hall. Johnson on the run. Stewart slow to get back. Hall steps into it. Waterman weak side. Kick to Trey Stewart. Snap corner, Waterman. Good closeout by Brown. 3-ball off. Bediako boxing board.
That shot would have brought the Marriott Center down.
I mean, think about it. Santa Clara has been so thoroughly dominant on the game, and BYU is a possession away from being within single digits.
Well, it's because Santa Clara doesn't play fast. They're okay taking their time. They play at a much slower tempo, but that's their game, and it works for them.
A noticeable draining of clock here. Hard screen by Bediako. Pajemski twisting, feeds Bediako, bucket.
How did he get that pass in? The Stewart is limping for BYU.
Number one along the sideline. Significant hiccup in his step. Johnson missed. Brown's got it. Pajemski comes to the ball. Johnson defending hard. I respect his grit.
Have to.
Very conscious draining of clock here.
You're also catching your breath, too. I think Pajemski actually looks tired for the first time in this game.
Bediako screen. Pajemski deep on high three. No. Long board corner, out of bounds.
His scoring is big time, but his passing, elite. How does he see him here? Pajemski's been tough.
Here's my dip.
Yes, sweet! Did you bring your 7-layer dip?
Yeah, but it's just 7 layers of beans.
Resourceful. Or did you invite all your friends to watch your favorite team?
They're losing, but that's okay.
So sweet, so unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you pretend to like sports or your girlfriend's dad would like you better?
What? No, I love sports.
Me too. Everyone's done something that deserves a doctor. It's what you deserve.
NexGard is the #1 vet-recommended flea and tick protection. It protects for a full 30 days, prevents the infection that causes Lyme disease, and is safe to start protecting puppies as early as 8 weeks. But your vet doesn't just prescribe it to her patients. She trusts NexGard to protect her own dog. And she knows its delicious beef flavor makes it #1 with dogs. Use with caution in dogs with a history of seizures or neurologic disorders. Ask your vet about NexGard and why it's #1 with pretty much everyone.
It's easy to get lost in investment research. Introducing JP Morgan Personal Advisors.
Hey, David.
Connect with an advisor to create your personalized
Let's
plan.
find the right investments for your goals.
Okay, great.
JP Morgan Wealth Management.
At Domino's, we took all the best things about pizza and put them on our new crispy loaded tots. Melty cheese, melty cheese. Mouth-watering toppings, mouth-watering toppings. Potato, potato. Try our new crispy loaded tots with your favorite pizza. Only at Domino's.
Coming up next, number 13 Gonzaga looks for redemption against LMU. A rematch nearly exactly a month ago. Gonzaga's 76-game home court win streak fell at the hands of LMU. Rich Waltz, Dan Dickow, A.J. Ross will be on the call. Bulldogs score better than anyone else in the country. It's a battle of the top 2 scorers in the league. Drew Timme of Gonzaga, Cam Shelton of LMU.
At Shelton, if you haven't watched him play, I would highly encourage you to stay and watch that game. He is a big-time scorer, and you know about Drew Timme. He's going to be in the running for National Player of the Year. Still one of the all-time Gonzaga greats.
Brandon Pajemski, the 3rd leading scorer in the West Coast Conference. BYU hasn't lost by more than 15 at home all year. Santa Clara is led by as many as 20. BYU has been rolling entry for several minutes of game time. All 3 triple makes for BYU have come since the break. Pajemski defending against Johnson. That's been a battle of late. Denied the screen, Traore. Switch, he's got Tilly. Williams stepping back. Banker! It's single digits.
Coach Pope is screaming to tighten up the defense. We got a little zone, back to their zone.
And a slap for a foul. That'll be the 2nd on Saunders. It's bonus.
It's not pretty, but sometimes you just have to find a way to make shots, and that's Rudi Williams from straight away.
And if you're going to foul any Bronco, foul Parker Brown, a 43% free throw shooter this year. 8 fouls on BYU, 1-1. And he makes it. Now Gideon George back in for BYU. Trey Stewart subs out. He hit them both.
It's been that kind of night for Santa Clara. And if you're BYU, you don't have to take a three, but you need to start looking for good opportunities for three-point shots.
Rejection by Justice. Carlos Stewart on the sprint. Slows. Justice asking for it on the near side.
We got to start thinking about, if you're BYU, you got to start thinking about get out and at least pressure the ball a little bit.
George
you don't have to foul
that.
yet.
Trying to edge Stewart's sideline. He goes paint. Floater off. Williams wins it.
That's why you play that possession out around that 2-minute marker. It's okay to play that defensive possession out before you start fouling.
And George draws a foul. That'll aid things. Stops the clock. He'll go to the line.
For Santa Clara in that huddle right now at the free throw line, you've got to finish the shot with a box out, but you also have to be prepared for a BYU press.
Foul to Parker Brown, his 4th. It is double bonus, front end good for George. Now remember, it is still an elective choice that BYU can foul for one more set of 1-and-1 free throws for Santa Clara. And Brown remains on the floor. George hits them both.
Diamond and 1 full court press for BYU. They like to trap out of this.
How do you beat it?
First, you got to get an inbounds. Not like that.
Williams to the line. Clock frozen again. And Parker Brown is fouled out with 1:40 to go.
The first time you see a press all game long, and miscommunication by Santa Clara on the part of Brown, who ends up fouling out after that turnover.
So Brown fouls out. Napper comes in. That makes them a lot smaller. Why this sub here? This about offense?
Well, you're breaking the full court press now too. You added an extra ball handler, an extra guard in Napper. You know BYU has to press off of makes or miss right now.
Williams, an excellent free throw shooter. Top 5 in the West Coast Conference.
For Santa Clara, you've got 3 highly capable ball handlers on the court right now. Bajemski, Napper, and Stewart.
Williams a team high 17, shades of what he did the first time these teams clashed when he dropped a game high 24 in 24 minutes off the bench. And timeout called by Herb Sendak. We'll break that down when we're back. We take one as well.
This is Marianne's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Marianne packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4Imprint. Yes, I'd like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes, certainly. You know we got some brand new woohoo!
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items.
Wow. I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4Imprint, for certain.
It's a dubious distinction. BYU and Michigan State, each multiple losses to a ranked opponent by 1 point. For BYU, part of the rub, those near misses against St. Mary's and Gonzaga, 2 of the 3 home losses they have suffered all year. But tonight, Santa Clara has been dominant on the road, seeking a sweep of BYU for the first time in over 6 decades.
And the Broncos are shooting the ball unbelievably well. 49% from the field, 54% from 3. Pajemski has been terrific tonight. BYU, you know they're going to set up in that press. They're most likely going to go back to that diamond and 1 full court press. If you're Santa Clara, you have to know it's coming after the made free throw. Best way to beat a diamond and 1 full court press, you have to have 2 quick passes. Your passes have to be very quick, and you need to get the ball to the middle to go over the top of the full court press.
Williams for the back end. Hits them both. Tilly to trigger. 140. The lead was 20. Down to 7. Stewart.
They got the trap.
Justice middle, across to Tilly, lead Pajemski.
Great job by Santa Clara.
You can feel a trap coming, calls timeout. We'll take one as well.
Interesting piece. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my car keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but at AT&T, it's worth a brand new Samsung Galaxy S23.
Wait, really? What about this?
AT&T's deal is back. Pre-order a free Samsung Galaxy S23 with a Galaxy phone trade-in. Any year, any condition.
Back, and it's full court press time for BYU. This is their diamond and 1 full court press. Santa Clara gets it inbound, but they fail to make the additional quick pass, which allows BYU to get into a semi-trap. Santa Clara finally gets out of it, the throw ahead. But I would say 2 things on that possession. Pretty good job of BYU of going for the trap without fouling, and a good pass ahead over the top of the full court press for Santa Clara.
What's the foul conversation for BYU with time and margin?
Not yet. You probably want to play this possession out before you start thinking about fouling. You're only down 7. Can you play it out 1 more possession before you think about fouling?
They changed the trigger man. It'll be Napper instead of Tilly. Saunders was going to front. He does not. Entry goes to Tilly. Defended by Traore. Looking for a guard and a foul.
That's the one guy. You mentioned it earlier, John. That's the one guy that you want at the foul line. BYU would have played out that possession if the ball didn't go into Tilly. BYU has 3 timeouts as well. You have to know that if not just the point guards, but the centers, the forwards, everybody on BYU has to know you've got an extra point guard. You don't have a good look, draw something up.
1-and-1 front end to make for Tilly, a 64% shooter. And showing both confidence in Tilly and trying to err on the side of defense. They pulled Justice away. There's no one mid lane to rebound.
You want to eliminate any off-ball foul scenario as well.
Back in May. Akametsu will sub in and Napper out. And I would assume we'll see that offense-defense switch down the stretch. BYU calls a timeout here. We'll take one too.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
This is Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade. Take the summer off. 200 milligrams of caffeine, electrolytes, and 0 sugar. Start fast with Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
After this one wraps up, stay tuned. 13th ranked Gonzaga rematches with Loyola Marymount. Rich Waltz, Dan Dickow, A.J. Ross will have the call. Cam Shelton coming off a career-high 36 against Santa Clara. Outstanding star for LMU. Brandon Podziemski has been the star tonight. The Broncos looking for their first win here in Provo in just over 50 years.
And Santa Clara's defense right now has to be prepared to switch ball screens, dribble handoffs, because BYU look to shoot a three on this possession, and you have to be able to contest without fouling.
Rudi Williams, 120.
There's the switch, the second switch.
Johnson, hard screen. Williams bobbles, Podziemski to the floor, he's got it! And a foul with 1:10 to go.
The kid is special. We've talked so much about his offense, his rebounding, but he's such an underrated defender. First to the floor, gets on the deck. Man, what a hustle play. Those are the plays that Coach Sendek absolutely reveres from a player. He could almost care less about some of the offensive plays that he's made tonight. It was that play is a winning play.
Spencer Johnson's third, front end Podziemski miss. We asked Herb Sendek, what's the best quality of Podziemski? And he immediately said his competitive toughness. Back end, lefty make. 10-point margin. Gotta go, the words from the BYU bench. Rudi Williams picks it up, looking for help. George for three, no. Tip ball, Justice has it, no foul.
Well, you gotta start fouling, have to.
Podziemski gets it across. A lot of time ticking off. They're trying to foul. Podziemski able to weave through it. And now the foul with 12 on the timer. Oh, timeout came. No, it will be a foul.
We took all the best things about pizza and put them on our new crispy loaded tots. Melty cheese, melty cheese. Mouth-watering toppings, mouth-watering toppings. Potato, potato. Try our new crispy loaded tots with your favorite pizza, only at Domino's.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly. Ding dong, Drizzly.
It was officially a timeout for Santa Clara, no foul, so the Broncos are out of timeouts. There's still 42.7 seconds left. Broncos up 10.
Everything's about securing the possession right now on sideline out of bounds. It's catching the ball with two hands, expecting a foul to be called. The trap is going to come. It's the one thing with 42 seconds left. I can understand in some situations if you get a trap, you don't need to foul right away, but there's no trapping opportunity. You are in automatic foul territory for BYU.
And Napper is subbed back in. He's also a strong free throw shooter at 72%.
You have Stewart, who shoots over 82%. Podziemski shoots over 80%.
Podziemski with a double-double tonight. His 9th on the year, second most in the league. Podziemski hit and fouled by Johnson. He's got 4. Podziemski back to the stripe.
Was there any doubt that Podziemski was going to secure possession on that? He's just done everything tonight. Both ends of the floor. This kid is a really special talent. He's projected late first round, early second round, and almost every single NBA mock draft.
But an excellent free throw shooter. Is that some of the fatigue that he misses front end?
First time. I mean, really, at about the minute and 45-second mark, it's the first time he looked tired.
We've seen a couple of free throw misses in just the last 20-plus seconds of game time. Akametsu to the table. He hits the back end. Same sub as they've been making. He is in, Napper out. Spencer Johnson into Williams. 40 seconds length of the floor. Williams to the bucket. 35.8. Tilly fronted by George. Podziemski again, doubled. Pass out of it to Justice.
It's a great pass. It's such a great pass. That may look like something very simple and easy to do. I can assure you, in the deep corner, throwing over the top of the press against while being trapped is not an easy pass. And Podziemski knows he's going to have to make this pass. Right now, he knows he's going to have to make it. His head's up, doesn't panic.
Williams second. Justice, the best free throw shooter for the Broncos at 85%, hit the first. He's able to offer a smile at the line. 9/10 of a second differential.
This is where you switch everything and no need for fouls here for Santa Clara.
Johnson off the fake. Layup, 23 seconds. Inbound to Justice. Podziemski got tripped up some, barely kept his footing. What a pass. 17 seconds. Oh, and clutching at his left foot, writhing in pain, is Williams. Foul goes to Saunders, his third.
Here's Rudi Williams, number 3. He just steps on the foot. Oh my goodness, I just hate to see that.
They had sent Stewart to the table for Williams. Williams said he's all right, but he is limping. Just exhaled a deep breath as he slowly saunters off the floor. And now Santa Clara can taste it. Back-to-back 20-win seasons, something that hadn't happened since Steve Nash wore the uniform back in the 90s when they went to the big dance 3 times in 4 years.
This is turning out to be a very special season for the Broncos. As you talked about those back-to-back 21 seasons.
3-ball Stewart, 6 seconds. Carlos Stewart dribbling out the clock. Santa Clara wins at BYU for the first time in just over half a century. They sweep the Cougars for the first time in more than 6 decades.
And it was all offense for Santa Clara. They were so sound. They took good shots, extra passes. Podziemski was terrific with 26 points. A fantastic performance by the Broncos.
The Broncos have won 4 in a row. They remain in 3rd place. Gonzaga LMU is still to come on our air. That's going to wrap things up. 81-74 Santa Clara. After the break, it'll be Evan Washburn, Wally Zerbiak, Chris Walker, Seth Davis, breaking things down across America in our studios. For the guard you can count on, Mike O'Donnell and our entire crew, my name is John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. A special season sees history. The final, Santa Clara 81, BYU 74.